Hey guys, just want to talk to you about some BRD boosting with a Shaman tank. This is Season of Discovery Phase 4, and I'm doing about 140 something mobs in about 15 minutes. It's pretty safe, you just need a little bit of practice runs and you'll get it. If you pair this with mining, you'll actually make a lot of gold because you get a ton of dark iron ores, and I have gotten a few Blood of the Mountains as well. And I think in a few hours, I've made like 700 gold if you count the ores in the mountains on top of the raw gold. And I charged really cheap. I charged 10 gold a run. And most people out there are charging like 20 to 25 gold a run, and there's barely anyone doing it. But with 10 gold a run, I had 4 people the entire time. I think I only did like one run with 2 people, and that was in the way beginning. But it just, dude, 4 people the whole time, nonstop. And it's a really good farm. And even if you're not boosting people, you could actually, as a shaman tank, solo all of BRD if you have the right set. But let's take a look at the map first. All right, so I start, where you see the A on the map is the entrance, and this is just like that ring in the beginning, where you see a lot of like dwarves and dogs. X is where you want your low levels to stand. They'll get complete EXP without moving. So you can drop like a sleeping bag there if you want. And they just sit there. They can loot if they want. It's up to you. You know what I mean? You'll actually get a lot more raw gold. You'll get anywhere between like 2 to 4 raw gold per run if people are just looting. But you want to come out the entrance and make a left and kind of like clear the whole room, and then you want to go down the bottom left path, right? So that means you cleared that whole room of patrol, so like in case any looters are out there, there's a higher chance they'll survive. Then you want to make your way down and loop around to the right, picking up any dark irons on the way, and you want to skip the boss. I just save it for last. You'll know why in a sec, but then you loop all the way around until you're back in the middle of the room, and then you go down the hallway where the interrogator boss is, where the number 5 is on the map. And you're going to want to use a tremor totem because she does fear. And you're going to want to save shamanistic rage for the end of the fight, because when all the trash mobs around her are dead, your shield master is not going to really get you the mana back, and she does a lot of mana burn. So you want to use it when like you're 1v1ing her. But it's an easy pull, and if nobody's looting her drops, you get like an extra gold or 2 every time you pick up a blue item from her. So it's a pretty good run. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this pool. So instead of showing you the entire path, I think the map kind of covers that. I'm just gonna show you like a little bit of how the pools work. You do like maybe 2 to 4 pools at a time, and the first one is usually the hardest because there's a lot of pats in this room. They freaking come out of nowhere, and they run into each other. They run away. They pick up more mobs, and for some reason, some of these mobs just hit really hard. They shield bash like crazy. If you ever are hard casting, they will lock you out. And you'll see what I'm doing is I'll use a decoy and go into Earthbind, but they become like immune to Earthbind at a certain point, like pretty early on. So you really only get like 1 Earthbind per pool. So you have to use it very wisely. And what I'll do is I'll use it if I'm having bad RNG with no chain heals, and my Riptide's on cooldown. Maybe I don't even have a potion, or I want to save the potion and risk it. But I will do that. And when I do pull back from the Earthbind, I'll do like maybe a few things. Maybe I'll wait for the Riptide and do like a lesser healing wave in the while I'm waiting. Then maybe set down like a Stone Skin, a Grace of Air to really like mitigate more damage, and set down like a Fire Nova Totem into Flame Shock into Magma Totem and just like face tank them. Maybe even a Shamanistic Rage. You just go full face tank on them, and even prepare my potion. Right, that's kind of like my emergency move. But more or less, I'm getting away with keeping the Riptides going and following them with insta-chain heals. It's just sometimes you get bad RNG, you'll do like 3 Riptides, 3 Flame Shocks, and no insta-chain heals. It happens sometimes, and you gotta deal with it, Um, but that's kind of the gist of how I'm pulling these. You always want to keep your riptides going when even when you're under like 90 or 85% health. You just want to keep the riptides going, and you want to use the chain heals to follow up on those. Always have your earth shields on, as much as you can, and you'll notice some of the WeakAuras, like there's a bar in the middle of the screen going down, and then it turns into an icon. That's for my Riptide cooldown. Seeing that actual bar go down, knowing how much time I have until I get another Riptide is really big. You'll see the red rings around me in the middle of the screen. That is my Power Surge proc, and that is making a sound every time I get a insta chain heal or chain lightning to use, which is really nice. I will link my video to my WeakAuras in the description. That will lead to all my WeakAura installations. But I feel like that Riptide and Power Surge WeakAura is probably like the most important one I have. And also the Earth Shield. Like that Earth Shield one is so nice. Tells me how many charges I got left and when I run out, you know. Just ignore the Lightning Shield one. I'm just too lazy to hide it, you know. I'm not even using Lightning Shield for this. But that's more or less how I'm handling these mobs, and just kind of go in a big circle and then go down the hallway, kill the boss, and then reset. You know, and it's almost always like 142 or 143 mobs. It's almost always the same number. You know, and the reason I don't do the circle around the arena where the rock boss is because there's a lot of fire elementals in there, and those just slow you down. I mean, you don't get Flame Shock, you don't get Molten Blast, you don't get any of your Fire Novas. Even your Flame Tongue on your weapon is kind of, you know, immune to. Like, all you really got is, like, Lightning Shield and Earth Shock. Like, dude, and then, like, Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt it when it's not even upgraded. Like, have fun doing that, you know? It's just such a waste of time. So don't do the circle around the arena. The Fire Elementals just take up way too much time, and you're not dealing with any lockouts, so you're totally good to go, you know. But that is pretty much how you're dealing with these pools. You're doing like 3 to 4 pools at a time, maybe 10 to 14 mobs, you know, each time. Um, and that's a safe way to go. And you do so much AoE damage that like it's a good, it's just as good as doing a one pool, you know. I feel like the people that are doing one pools have to do so many gimmicks, like they have to use like limited invulnerability potion, or hunters have to constantly fiend death to reset um, uh, the frost trap, you know, diminishing returns and immunity. At least that's what I heard. I've never seen it. But that is pretty much the pool. Let me get into the loadout here. You know, the gear, the runes, the talents. All right, so the loadout. Let's start with the runes first. I went with burn, good AOE. Shield mastery, you know, mana and survivability. Power surge, for those insta chain heals. I tried Earth Shield and Way of Earth, and Earth Shield is the winner by a long shot. Just keeps you alive way longer. Decoy Totem, if you need to decoy into Earthbind to reset. Riptide is pretty huge, and Molten Blast definitely is the winner here. And then for rings, I went fire and defense, and for the back, I went storm, earth, and fire for that earthbind. And then as far as gear, it's just a tanking set. You know, it's just life and defense more than anything, and you know, whatever avoidance and intellect you can get on top of that and hit. So I went with the tier 0.56 set, and then a tier 1-2 set. If I can go full tier 1, I would, you know, or at least get the 6-piece. And then for the weapon, I went to Feet from Oni, you know, stamina and defense, and then I went shield from Ubers and shield from DFC. It's good to bring 2 shields because these will break way faster than the rest of your gear. You know, and just like tanking trinkets and rings. And as far as totem, I went 2% mana on attack, but if I were to do it again, I'd probably do Totem of Rage, which is in my bank, and that is 30 Flame Shock damage, which I think will just speed up the process like a little bit. I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest. But that is the set that I'm working with. And as far as talents, it is just a simple LE tank build that I use for everything. I use it for MC, I use it for Oni, I use it for dungeons, I use it for boosting, and I even use it for PvP. I'm not a min maxer, it's just this is my build that I use for everything. But for BRD, I would recommend getting 5% damage, 15% fire totem damage, 1% reduction of shock. Elemental focus is just nice to have, and the 100% crit damage. Also, an enhancement, I got shield block, dodge, armor, and parry. I think those are all kind of must-haves for this, but anything else you get is entirely up to you. These are just what I get for this is my go-to build for everything that I use. And that is pretty much the build. I hope you guys like it, and give it a shot if you are a shaman. It's really fun to do. You could even solo a lot of BRD. You could probably solo the whole thing. You could do Libram farm, a Libram of resilience farming. You could do burning essence farming. You could do even wild offering farming. It's a pretty cool place to go as a shaman. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. I will leave a link of my WeakAuras in the description and a link to a video going over them. The video will not go over the Riptide one, as I just added that for the BRD boosting specifically. And if I were to pick any WeakAuras to get for BRD boosting, it would 100% be the Riptide one, the Earth Shield one, and the Power Surge one. Those are kind of must-haves for this, because you are juggling them so damn much. Alright, well, if you liked the video, like and subscribe. If you have any feedback or comments you want to help the community grow, leave it down below. And yeah, thank you guys very much, and I hope you guys enjoy.